So this is episode 4, and this one's gonna be I get asked a lot, like, why are you part of a pedo church and stuff? So it's really gonna resonate on that. Multiple reasons why. Um and yeah, and I hope to have somebody soon um to do to interview them. So let's get into it. So I get this question asked a lot, like, why am I part of a pedo church, and me being a survivor of CSA, and people making assumptions about that, which I don't think is right, to judge me just on what I believe. And I know there's like the big scandals and stuff, and like I've said previously, my take on it. I found a lot of healing in the church. And right now, I'm hurting because I've come to the realization, with the help of some people that I really trust, that is bigger than I imagined, and why it's so hard to be in some places and to try to physically come into one church specifically. And that, like, I get physically, emotionally, mentally sick when I think about it, and when I do have those flashes of that. It breaks my heart, but at the same time, by knowing the truth and allowing my flashbacks to happen, it is good. For most of you that don't know, some of the stuff that happened to me happened in a Catholic church. And it breaks my heart that it did. And the people that did it, I'm not going into any detail with this just because it's so raw right now for me to come to the realization of certain stuff, but it's to the point where it's satanic. And I know there's like different Satanist people and what they believe and stuff, but this was like to the point of that. And I've come to the realization of this, and it's really big. This is why my ex-uncle was in a certain position of power at his parish, and why he did certain stuff behind closed doors and was like sort of friends with them. So it broke my heart. And emotionally right now I'm not doing good. Like, I want to cry right now is how bad, because I'm talking about this. It just really breaks my heart. And I've come with peace to being Catholic and to find healing. So no matter how hard, I said this at my confirmation to myself and to God. I made a promise to God. No matter how hard it got, I would remain in the church. And it is hard right now. Like, my mentally and emotionally, it's hard. Like, part of me hasn't want to get up and get out of bed, and I haven't felt that in such a long time. Like, I've fought that feeling so much, and these past couple of days I haven't want to get up and fight my head. I haven't wanted to do that. I've just wanted to just lounge around and just sit on my butt and just doing my own stuff. But the other part of it is because I've had this routine for a lot of years now to just get up and fight that feeling. My body doesn't, even though my body's mentally and emotionally exhausted, like, it does not want to function. But at the same time, I want to get up and fight. The truth is finally setting me free by letting this go. And one of my aunts, I have another aunt that's working with me now, and I'm trying really hard to have, like, to tell her stuff that I told my one aunt I'm working with. But she wants to help me, heal, be on this journey with me, and to see where stuff went wrong in my case and stuff. And it's more, I guess you could say, the word normalized for my case, that there's probably a lot of cases with the same detective that happened to. But for me, it just hurts. It's like emotionally raw, and um, it's okay to feel that. Like, you can be at a point where mentally and emotionally it's hard. Like, I'm finally starting to be able to emotionally emotionally heal, mentally heal those wounds that I didn't really give myself a chance to when I was younger. And I'm proud of myself for that. I made good big steps in the right direction. And for those that say all priests are like that, that's not the case. That's not true. I've had wonderful priests in my life, um, be that, and I feel like because it's got to the point of that I need to talk to my parish priest. Like, I really need to sit down with him and say, this is what I remember from when I was younger. I need some type of tool you can give me, spiritual direction, because it's physically hard to go in Mass, and that's why you see me outside of Mass and just being present like that it's got to the point of that, because my brain, my brain is a PTSD brain, and I get triggered a lot at church. So I would love tools. So I feel like talking to him about this, just because it's bothered me so much emotionally, um, that I feel like I need to talk to an actual priest and um, ask, ask and try to get some help that way spiritually. And that it's helped a lot to know I have another aunt that is like an outsider that doesn't know every single one. Like, my aunts don't know every single one of my flashbacks. I've had long long ones and stuff, and just some stuff I don't want to talk about. I don't feel comfortable talking about. So for me, it's a huge step in the right direction. As for like priests and religious people, I've just learned from my own research, therapy, and such, that it's about power and money. Stuff like with little kids, CSA, FA, it's all, where can we get power and money over this certain person or this little child to get them to do what we want. Sad but true. And it hit me hard what my aunt said. She's like, they are not men of God. They are not true priests, which felt really good to have a person that doesn't, that I have had to share some stuff the other day with her, kind of support that those people are not men of God. They're men of the great deceiver. And she told me too that we need to ask Mommy Mary for her intercession to sweep all of the evils out. And there's certain reasons why there's payouts and stuff in the church, and that and turning a blind eye. And that's why I want to become and be strong enough mentally and physically and emotionally to become an advocate for the less fortunate. Become that. And that's why I say, like, if you've been hurt by the church, don't let that person or persons take your relationship away that you have with God. Um, I'm a big advocate for that, and I found a lot of healing in the church. Yes, I'm not going to lie and say that it's like easy and a piece of cake being part of the church. I get judged a lot for the misconceptions, but on top of that, also because I'm a CSA survivor, people assume it was a priest in that. When I don't want to go into detail about that. Like I told you, like, mentally and emotionally, it's been hard these past couple of days, just because I've let it all out and come to the realization, and same with my aunts, I've come to the realization of that, where I'm going to have to really prepare myself to do certain things. So it's hard. Um, I'm I'm sort of tearing up. Yeah, I know you can't tell it on the screen, but I want to cry, and I can't cry. Um, just because I've been doing that last couple of days and it's tired me out. So I'm gonna try and not cry for this podcast, this episode of it. I've come to the realization that I was born for a time such as these. That's what my aunt told me. And that kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, I'm going to become an advocate, such a strong advocate for stuff like this, especially when it comes to religion, because it just doesn't happen in the church, but it's been a big problem for the past few years in the church, this type of stuff. So if I could be that one person that kind of steps up to the plate and says, be on the lookout for this. It's not just with priests, it's coming from all aspects of life, but I want to help clean out the church of those people that aren't repentive, that aren't like my confirmation saints, person that killed her, the person that killed her. He changed his tune and changed his whole life after she came to him in a dream and said, I forgive you and I want you to be with me in heaven. So I want to be able to give them a chance at that, to repent and to be sorry for what they did. But at the same time, it's hard for one of the catechisms of the Catholic Church. Once a priest, always a priest. I'm struggling with that too. Like, I can't wrap behind my head, not just with those, but like some of the other stuff like my mom has told me for this one certain priest down south. I'm like, if you're not repentive, why be called a priest? I just don't get it. If you're not going to try to change your actions and stay away from that certain stuff that really triggers that addiction, whatever it may be, your attraction to that, why still be a priest? Why call yourself a priest? Why call yourself father? It just, I can't get that. Like, I've struggled with that for these past couple of months. That if you're truly a priest, you wouldn't be doing that. You'd be like the one that had my back when the justice system didn't. My priests at my parish, the ones I go to for confession and that, why would you call yourself someone like them? And it's true, the one quote, I forgot what saint it was, but behind every priest there's like a demon or a spirit trying to take them down. And it's, I think, also generational trauma. Something must have happened to that priest to make them want to do that, and they didn't get help for that, didn't speak up about it or anything, and continued that generational curse and trauma onto the next generation, which is really sad to think. But for me, with that certain topic, now getting down to brass tacks, why am I part of that? Why am I part of a church that has so much scandal, corruption, and everything? I turned my back on Jesus once, and I tried to live without Jesus and his church and the truth. It did more harm to me than good. With Jesus, I've healed some wounds I thought would never be healed, would never go away, that would still be that aching, bleeding wound in my heart and soul. And the blow is like less and less. So the Catholic Church has brought me healing. Believe it or not, it's brought me peace. And I still struggle with my PTSD. I know I'm going to have to live with that with the rest of my life. My severe PTSD, my anxiety, my depression, my hypothyroidism, my PCOS, all these things, medical things I have wrong with me. I'm going to have to deal with it the rest of my life. And that's something I have to live with. And if I could bring someone to God and to say, there is healing from this, you are not alone, I believe you. There's people that are going to have your back in the church and they don't stand for that. It's going to be awesome. Christ called me back to the church. I was really stubborn at the time. Like, I didn't really want to do it, but I'm like, I'll give this a chance because he was calling me to do it, and my sister lovingly poking me, and my mom lovingly poking me, wanting me to believe in God again, and going to the Wicca and all that. And that's if you want to become Catholic, or if you're Catholic and haven't been confirmed, those are those classes. and you can choose whether you want to be confirmed or not, or if you need more, knowledge about the Catholic faith and stuff, you do that. So he called me to come back, and I haven't turned my back on him since coming back to the faith. I've had struggles, I've had doubts, but I haven't left. Like, I was mad at God before I came back, and now I'm not mad at God no more. And it took me a long time to not be mad at God and say, why'd you allow this to happen in your own church? In everything. Why? To me, it just did not, I couldn't understand that until I went into Rika, until I came back to God, that He gave us free will, and it was their choice, those people's choices, those pedophiles' choices, to do the stuff they did to me and to my cousins. And that's something I will never forget. Like, they chose that path. Did they heal from their own generational curse trauma? No. They would have seen a positive light, and it was passed down to my one cousin that I don't speak with anymore. He and his sister and my one aunt, I don't speak to them anymore. Very minimal contact. And he's done it, to another relative. I'm not going to disclose any more than that, but he has continued that generational trauma, and who knows, he could be doing it to other little children. I tried to stop it by speaking up and saying something, because I felt like I had to, otherwise I'm going to die, my cousins are going to die. That's what I thought. And that is a prime example of someone not being Catholic and upholding the Catholic faith, doing all of this sort of stuff and not upholding the teaching of the church. I'm not trying to judge people, but just on their actions and them not upholding and believing in the truth of the Catholic Church, I don't consider them Catholic. I consider them Protestant, picking and choosing what they want to believe for the faith. And I don't mean to sound harsh or anything. It's just point out there, and especially with people that hurt children. Jesus explicitly says, if you hurt children, this is what's going to happen to you. And I love in my home parish, right above the chapel we have where confession is held, there's a, a mural kind of thing. I forgot what it's called, but it has Jesus and all the little children that are sitting around, and he's teaching them. And it says, let the little children suffer, and have them come on to me. And he holds children especially in his heart really, really fondly, in that he doesn't want them to have like what happened to me and that and stuff, but he allows it to happen for a reason. Can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand why, but maybe it's to grow closer in my faith, to come back to God, to help another that is struggling with their relationship with God, or doesn't believe, or is having doubts, because of their own trauma, to help them to say, God's here with you. It wasn't his fault. He allowed it to happen, but it's not his fault overall. He gave us free will. They chose to do what they did, to take that power and innocence and everything else away. Again, I'm not trying to defend those people that are the very evil, corrupt, wolves in sheep's clothing people in the church. No. I'm saying just my own personal journey in coming back to the church has been one of the best decisions I've ever made. And just learning more of the truth and opening up the truth into these people I trust, it hurts. It hurts to know that I didn't want to be that percentage, but I am. And it just sucks. It sucks to know that I was part of a satanic ritual when I didn't understand that then, but I do now. I do know that Satan on their shoulders, wanting to do the same to me and my cousins. So I get really triggered by like satanic stuff and that. So I would just say, if you are struggling with your faith, whatever walk of life, whatever denomination, whatever form of Protestantism, or you're part of being the Catholic Church, I understand, and I understand if you never want to come back. I truly do. I feel your pain. But don't let that one person or persons, like I've said before, take your relationship away from God. Because in the end, they made that choice to do that. They could have stopped. They could have not done it at all, but they chose. They chose to do that. And that's very sick, psychopathic, demented, wolves in sheep's clothing. People of God should not be doing that to little kids, not harming little kids. Supposed to be protecting and serving. So I just want to say that's some of the main reasons I'm called back to the church. And I'm not going to believe just because I'm having a hard time mentally and emotionally. And I'm sticking to my promise I made with God and to myself, that no matter how bad and messy it gets in the church, I'm not going to leave. And if I reach somebody that is struggling, that's awesome. And if you want to talk, I'm free to talk. And you just want to say, I'm really hurting about this. Can you help me? You can. It's a two-way street. Thank you.